And welcome back to GP for Beginners, folks. Once again, my name is Josh, and today we are working on a 2018 Jeep Wrangler Sahara. This is the JL body style, not the JK. And we are once again addressing the issue of the Jeep Death Wobble. Now, there is already a video on this channel, which there is a link in the description, take you directly to it to show you the step-by-step on how to figure out what the cause of that death wobble is. But this one was kind of a unique bird. And the cause of this problem is not in that last video. So this is going to be interesting. You should stick around. I think you're going to enjoy this. So once again, welcome back to the channel, folks. Like I said in the introduction, we're going to be talking about the 2018 and 2019 JL Wranglers and the inherent flaw that Chrysler designed into these. And that is in this device, which is the steering gearbox. Now, they originally thought it was a great idea during the 18, 19, 20 era to go with aluminum. The idea was lighter weight, less expensive, and easier to manufacture. However, every one of these gearboxes for your steering that was designed out of the aluminum casting have failed. And Chrysler is aware of the issue. In fact, starting in 2020, they fixed it and they went back to a cast unit. So I wanted to show what the difference was between the unit that comes out, which is this guy right here, and the unit that should be in it. So as you can see, your caps and your shaft, everything on this guy is aluminum. It was a great idea. It's very lightweight, easy to pick up, but the aluminum gets hotter a hell of a lot faster than the actual old cast does, like what's in the JK Wrangler. This guy right here, this is a rebuilt one from Detroit Axle because it was a little bit less expensive. This one is significantly heavier and it's 100% cast steel all the way around. The idea, folks, is internals, okay? So when we're talking about steering wheel shake, everybody talks about this with the Wrangler, also known as the death wobble. During that generation, one of the biggest flaws was because the aluminum would heat up or expand more than the cast would, the internal seals would start letting go, and this shaft right here would get loose, allowing that steering to just kind of move around. You may notice it if you feel a little bit of slop in the steering wheel, or if you're holding it straight, but notice that the Jeep is kind of tracking like this going down the road. Those are the symptoms of a failing aluminum gearbox. So in the shop today, we had the opportunity to replace one. And like I said, we got this guy from Detroit Axle and Gear for far less money than what Mopar wants for theirs, but both are great gearboxes. And we're actually going to swap it around, put the right one in it, and reset this alignment so that we can eliminate their steering shake. So the reason that we just talked about the difference in those gearboxes is because that was the actual failure in this particular one. So the customer had already replaced a worn out drag link and a worn out tie rod with the new ends in an attempt to try to solve this issue. And that's how it ended up coming to me, because they're like, Josh, we followed this step by step and they did everything right. But there was that one detail between the 18 to 20s that have that aluminum gearbox. So now we got the steel gearbox back into the vehicle. So we are going to do an alignment. Now in the last video, I showed you how to do the alignment using an alignment rack. The biggest thing that I got from a lot of you guys is I can't find an alignment shop to do it to the specs that you provided for me, Josh. Well, unfortunately, that is true because most alignment shops are trained to set everything to 0, 0. So I'm going to show you how to do the alignment in your own garage by hand, and it's only going to cost you about 25 bucks. All right, so what we have here are a set of alignment plates. Now, I picked these up off of Amazon, literally for 25 bucks. Comes with the plates and the tape measures for both wheels. Now, word of caution before we get deep into this, This isn't necessarily the way to do it on every vehicle that's on the road, nor is it going to be the perfect way to do it if you have access to a laser alignment machine. But for a solid axle Jeep Wrangler, this was going to get us damn close. So we have this set up hanging off the wheel with the tire off. The axle itself is supported evenly on both sides by jack stands, and the steering wheel is locked in the straight position. So our tape measures here are going to tell us what our toe measurement is. Now remember, in the last video, we had talked about wanting the front of the tires to stick out a little bit, not much, but just a little bit in order to force the geometry of the suspension system to work correctly. So the same theory is going to apply here, that the measurement on the back of this tape versus the measurement on the front of this tape is going to be just a little bit off, showing a little wider up front and a little narrower in the back. But it's really simple to do. So let me show you what the process is. All right, so when we look, this measurement back here falls at 66 and 7/8. This measurement up front is exactly 66 and 7/8. So that tells me that the alignment shop that they brought this to set this alignment perfect at 0, 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust it slightly to pull this in by about 1/8 of an inch and to pull that out by about 1/8 of an inch. So let me show you how to do that. Switch, there we go.
First day in the job.
Yeah, well, Benny's been using my tools, so. Yeah, because remember, everything's floating right now, so you got to keep it as level as possible. It's really not that big of a difference. Do not touch the wheel. Make sure it's level. Are you recording? You're touching the wheel.
5 hours later.
So this is going to be a 15 millimeter nut. This is the only thing that we need to worry about adjusting for the actual toe. Okay. This is going to control the overall length of your tie rod. This guy right here is the actual adjustment sleeve, which, believe it or not, I can turn by hand. But if you can't turn it by hand, using a set of channel locks is all you really need. By turning it one way or another is actually going to change these measurements. So while I'm turning it, I'm going to have Ben come over here using the flashlight on this top measurement. It still says 7/8, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me know when it moves out slightly. I know I'm going the right way. And we're only looking for 1/8 of an inch.
Right there.
Okay. Okay. So the overall difference is just at about that 1/4 of an inch. Now, 1/4 of an inch sounds like a lot, but when we're talking about something that's 74.5 inches apart from each other, I think it's really not that big of a difference. But believe it or not, just that little bit is actually going to change the behavior on how this works. And that works out to the same measurement on the laser alignment machine that is that 0.4 or 0.5 degrees just on the outside of Chrysler's tolerances. So now that we have that set, we're going to tighten this back down, throw the wheels on it, and take it for a test drive and make sure that that steering wheel stays nice and tight. I am still sticking to my guns that the alignment is really the key factor in getting that steering wheel shake to calm itself down. Now, one thing I do want to mention, okay, when we measured this out with those alignment plates, it was already set to a perfect alignment stance. The customer had just had that done. If you put these on and those measurements are not perfect at 0, 0, you should move it to that first before you make your final adjustment. So the alignment needs to be started at 0 degrees, even at 66 and what was it? 66 and 7/8 in the front, 66 and 7/8 in the rear on this particular one. Make sure they read exactly the same measurement before you make your final adjustment. But that little bit of a 1/4 of an inch is all it's going to take Of course, in addition to replacing the gearbox on this particular one, and this customer should be able to drive this thing back to Arizona with no issues whatsoever. Now we got to get ourselves to some little bumpy areas. It's a small town, but we've got some pretty crappy roads, so we'll find something. So let's see, at 35, we've got this bump right here. I don't know about you, but this bump should almost do it every time. Oh, that was beautifully solid. Okay. So that's 65. And perfect. Perfectly straight, comfortable. Alright, so I'm gonna get the rumble strip here. No vibrations, no slop, no looseness. And it drives perfectly straight. So I'm gonna say absolute success. There we go. So just like that, folks, it really is that simple. And I know I've said it multiple times that something as simple as an alignment could actually solve this issue. So two things to take away from this video. One, if you are driving a Wrangler between 2018 and 2020, you may want to take a look at which steering gearbox you have. The aluminum one, it's not going to last. There is a TSB from Chrysler. You should get that replaced. But otherwise, there is a step-by-step procedure to check the entire suspension system for the Jeep Death Wobble. The link for that is also going to be in the description down below this video. Oh, and I was thinking about it. That little $25 alignment plate that made this job super simple today, I want to put a link in the description down below for that too. If it's something you want to attack, it really is just that easy. Of course, if you are local to the Las Vegas metropolitan area and you would like me to take a look at your vehicle up here at our Overland Solutions shop, you're more than welcome to shoot me an email and we'll get you scheduled in. In the meantime, folks, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out or put it down in the comments. In the meantime, folks, stay safe and happy Jeeping, and we will see you next time. It's a small town, but we've got some pretty crappy roads, so that was 50. We got traffic. Small town traffic. 55 and dodging Metro. No, you don't want to do that. And it drives perfectly straight. So I'm going to say absolute success.
Or kapla, as the Klingons say.